porcelain vase. Trump is just an ape. And then Hegseth. Hegseth, you don't know if he's what he calls himself, the Secretary of War, the Secretary of Peace, Secretary of Defense, the original name of the title, or Secretary of Hair Gel.
Introducing the... Why doesn't anyone do this in the... Why?
An Iranian inventor and national taekwondo athlete just won gold on the global stage. But what she carried with her mattered more than the medal itself. At the Malaysia International Young Inventors Olympiad, Leila Keshavarzi walked up to receive her award, holding a pink backpack. She dedicated her win to the 168 girls who were killed in US-Israeli missile attacks on the Mineb school in Iran. Iran has called it a war crime. The United Nations has urged accountability, and even reports on Fox News noted the use of a Tomahawk missile in the attack, a weapon only used by the US. Investigations are now underway in Washington, but on the stage in Kuala Lumpur, the young champion turned grief into something more powerful. One of her projects was named after the martyrs of Mineb School. She said their message should live on, even if they didn't. Because sometimes a gold medal isn't just about winning, it's about remembering those who never got the chance to, and reminding those who took that dream away from them.
There is a perception in the north that Islam came with the sword with Muhammad bin Qasim in 712. We in the south have a very different recollection. I will speak as a Keralite. My state, we were used to what the people we today call the Arabs traveling to Kerala every year for 1,000 years before Islam. They were traveling when the winds were favorable across the Arabian Sea. They would come, they would settle on the west coast of Kerala, they would trade, they would marry locally, they would spend a few months, and when the winds changed, they would go back every year, year after year, for centuries. Centuries. So Islam came to us as news, not through a sword, but as news from people who had been traveling, who were familiar to us, who were part of us in many ways for millennia. And they came to us, people we're familiar with, trading with us, living with us, and they said, hey, you know what's happening in our peninsula? We have a prophet, and this is what he's saying. So much so that a local Hindu king, Thiruman Perumal, was so excited to hear about this prophet that he organized a flotilla of 22 or 23 ships to go to the Arabian Peninsula so he could meet the prophet. Most of those ships didn't make it. They got stranded in what we today know as Lakshadweep or the Maldives. But he made it. And what is fascinating is that you can see the evidence of his journey even today. In Oman, south of Salalah, there are Kerala coconut trees growing from coconuts he took with him, which are not native to the Arabian Peninsula. Now, this is how we relate to history. And when this Muslim community in Kozhikode and Kochi and that area, the West Coast basically, became numerous enough, large enough, that they needed a place to worship, they went to the Zamarin, the local king, and he said, no problem, there is a disused temple, you can have it. And so the oldest mosque outside the Arab world in Kodunallur in Kerala is still dominated by an ancient Hindu lamp outside the mosque. The mosque has gone through 5 or 6 major renovations over the centuries. But can you imagine? You can have it. And so the oldest mosque outside the Arab world in Kodunallur in Kerala is still dominated by an ancient Hindu lamp outside the mosque. The mosque has gone through 5 or 6 major renovations over the centuries. But can you imagine? There is a mosque in India going back within a few decades of the lifetime of the Prophet.
الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أهل الكتاب لا تغلوا في دينكم ولا تقولوا على الله إلا الحق إنما المسيح عيسى ابن مريم وكلمته